It's a MetaWatchParty. Here we go again.
Today, we're watching this video called Home Alone 2 Literally Makes No Sense. And I don't know, I always thought it made sense. I don't know if I really thought about whether it made sense. I really enjoyed it.
Probably because we were children and nothing really had to make sense back then. But I mean, he wasn't at home. He was alone, but he wasn't at home. So he was like actually stranded in a city that he's not from.
Well, he was at a home.
It wasn't his home.
But it's a sequel. We expect a little change.
I mean, that's why it makes sense to you.
So already I disagree with the title of this, the whole premise of this video. But no, I'm curious. Like, I never really thought about it, and I have seen it as an adult many times, and still didn't think it didn't make sense. But
I guess we're gonna have to see.
all right, let's meta watch.
So for those of you who remember, last year around Christmas time, I made a video about Home Alone. And let me tell you, people were really not having that one. So this year I decided it would be a great idea to do Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Now this is another one of those 90s movies that was so popular, just so ubiquitous. And let's check in and see what kind of wacky adventures the McAllisters are getting into this time. So Home Alone 2 starts out pretty much just like Home Alone 1, with everyone all having a kerfuffle as they get ready to take another Christmas vacation because, you know, that worked out so well the first time, why not do it again?
Honey, are you packed yet? Yes. Yes. Oh, did you see what Grandma put out?
Now, something else this movie really wants you to be aware of is the toy Kevin's holding right here. This was the Talk Boy, which was literally just a tape recorder with a microphone. That's it. That was the whole toy. And back in the early to mid 90s, like, this was the hottest toy on the street.
Now you can be as clever as Kevin with Tiger's new Talk Boy tape recorder.
Stop drooling on me. Stop drooling on me.
I mean, really.
That commercial was classic.
It was perfect.
Oh man, I definitely had one of those.
You did?
I had a purple one. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Way cool.
It was tubular.
Oh, totally rad.
Where's world? Party time! Excellent!
Yeah, nah, it was lit though.
Gnarly.
Definitely was fun, but I mean, I didn't have the movie pranks and antics to get into, so I got kind of plain pretty quick.
And weren't you in New York? Oh, that's a mystery.
I've never been to New York in my life.
Of comedy when you were a 90s kid was when one of your friends had one of these and y'all took turns passing it around like butt crack. Butt crack.
What are
Anyways, like I
those?
said,
Who are these people sitting in front of us?
This episode is extra meta.
So meta.
It's you watch us, watch these characters, watch Home Alone 2.
Yep. We're already at least 3 layers meta. Wait, was that 3?
That was
you.
4.
You. Oh, you is 1 level. You. Watch us. Watch those people.
Watch Home Alone 2.
All right. Mo meta, mo better.
they're trying to get ready for their next vacation.
Those
But
things.
this time, instead of a trip to Paris, the McAllister family is heading off to the much more exotic and infinitely more bizarre Florida.
Why do we have to go to Florida? There's no Christmas trees in Florida.
Kevin, what is it with you and Christmas trees?
How could you have Christmas without a Christmas tree, Mom?
Well, find a nice fake silver one. Or decorate a palm tree.
So that night is the school Christmas concert, and Kevin's in the same choir as his much older brother Buzz for some reason. And when it comes time for
Right.
Kevin to sing his solo, Buzz puts his little candle things behind Kevin's ears, which is apparently just the funniest gosh darn thing these boomers have ever seen. And then, you know, Kevin figures out what's going on, he gets angry, punches Buzz, SpaghettiOs, and guess who's the only one who gets in trouble?
I'm not sorry. I did what I did because Buzz humiliated me. And since he gets away with everything, I'll let him have it. And since you're also stupid to believe his lies, I don't care if your idiotic Florida trip gets rich or not. Who wants to spend Christmas in a tropical climate anyway?
And so, once again,
Wait, Kevin McAllister had the best reads of the 90s. Your idiotic trip. So he said you're all too stupid to realize.
Yep, they were.
Yeah, he was never telling lies, and that's why he always got in trouble. They were like, if you don't stop telling us about ourselves.
And so, once again, Kevin has to go sleep up in the attic. I think I'm noticing a pattern with these movies here. Now, the next morning, we once again get to meet the true villain of these movies, clocks. You see, because Kevin's dad unplugged something the night before, the one clock in the entire house apparently gets reset, which of course causes everyone in the family to oversleep. And as usual, everyone rushes to get ready and out the door, and guess what happens?
8, 9.
Remember, that was a big thing in the
How
90s.
come none of us are sitting together? This time of year, we're lucky to be
Time
on the same plane.
clocks?
11.
The power going out and the clock's going in.
Yeah, definitely.
Happen all the time.
Kevin?
That's not what happened though.
14.
Psych. Anyway, so just to summarize this next part real quick, when they get to the airport, Kevin grabs his dad's bag because he's looking for some batteries for his talk boy. And so, because he's not paying attention, he ends up following this other guy who's wearing the same coat and has the same haircut as his dad. And
Tricky.
wouldn't you know, thanks to the Wild West, Mad Max, who cares, do whatever you want world of the 90s, Kevin gets on the wrong flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Sorry.
Is that even possible
Are you
now?
on this flight? Yeah, so's my family.
We have to close up here. They're ready to go.
He dropped his boarding pass.
Are you sure your family's on this flight?
Are you
My
sure?
dad ran in here right before I bumped into this lady.
Oh, you know, you just gotta love that 90s apathetic optimism where everyone's just like, whatever, it'll be fine. Anyway, so like I said, Kevin ends up taking the wrong
Simpler
flight, and instead of
times.
Yeah,
heading
that's
to Florida,
fine.
he goes all the way to New York City.
No, my family's in Florida and I'm in New York. My family's in Florida. I'm in New York.
So because he has his dad's bag with the money and credit cards and all that stuff, we get the inevitable montage of Kevin going around the city, seeing the sights, and just doing like whatever a 10-year-old kid does. But in the middle of all this, guess who we run into?
Merv.
Had to bring him back.
That's right. Would you believe the wet bandits are back at it again? This time in New York City, where everyone just kind of looks like them anyway. So Kevin makes his way over to the Plaza Hotel. Now he goes there because he saw a commercial earlier in the movie when he was watching every kid's favorite 90s game show, Ding Dang Dong.
Cast of the new celebrity Ding Dang Dong.
Which is
Not
also
real.
the name of like every Asian character in a Hollywood movie until like 4 years ago. Anyway, when he gets there, he meets no one special, but he comes up with a foolproof plan to try and get a room.
A TV and one of those little refrigerators you have to open with a key.
He was a
Plaza Hotel
genius
reservations may
level
help you?
smart.
Howdy, Jim. This is Peter McAllister, the father
Yes, sir.
of Michael Hotel.
He was like hacking the social system.
You know, I feel like anyone who's worked in customer service has probably met at least like 3 people who sound just like this. Okay, next person in line, please.
I believe it.
Howdy do. I'm Peter McAllister, the father.
Sorry, I can't even finish the joke. Anyway, so thanks to the magic of Hollywood, Kevin's able to check into the hotel by telling them that his dad's gonna come later. But not before Tim Curry and Rob Schneider just show up out of nowhere and start getting suspicious.
Right?
Cedric. Yes. Don't count your chips in public.
Cedric.
And find out everything you can about that young fellow.
Front, please.
So Tim Curry's character, whatever his name is, who cares, sneaks into 10-year-old Kevin's hotel room in the middle of the night.
Crazy.
Very normal thing to do.
Right?
But Kevin makes him think his dad's there by inflating that clown thing and setting up this whole rope and pulley system, all in the time it takes
Genius.
Tim Curry to walk from the door to the bathroom.
Right.
Can you believe this kid's movie isn't 100% logical? The next day, we flash over to the Wet Bandits once again, who, at the halfway mark of the movie, suddenly become relevant.
We don't have the equipment to pull off anything big. You know, your banks, your jewelry stores. The only stores that are gonna have
Oh,
cash
they
on
use
it.
equipment.
The ones that deal in moderate
They're eating
goods.
popcorn.
Right. Candy stores.
What flavor?
9-year-olds rob candy stores, Mama. This is what I
Broccoli.
Right.
So they head on down to Duncan's toy chest to scope out the place, but wouldn't you know, Kevin just so happened to take a limo to the same toy store so he could buy whatever this is. And while he's buying this thing, the guy at the register tells him that all the money they make that day is going to be donated to the local children's hospital. Now after this, Kevin leaves the store and he's standing out on the sidewalk, and guess what happens?
Hiya, pal.
Worst nightmare. That's kind of unbelievable, but New York really isn't as big as it seems.
It could happen in New York.
smoke break. That was crazy.
Chasing him all through the
Smart.
city over like 10 blocks or so, all the way back to the hotel, which is right across the street from the toy store. Anyway, Kevin gets back to the hotel, but right that moment, he finds out that they found out that the credit card he used was reported stolen by his dad. And so now Marv, Harry, the hotel staff, and just like every adult in New York City apparently, chases after him.
The credit card report is realistic.
Round trip to Miami. What's the matter? Get on the wrong plane, Squirt?
You know, this doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but like I just noticed that Joe Pesci was only like a few inches taller than 10-year-old Macaulay Culkin in this movie. Anyway, so then, just out of nowhere, they explain
It's
their
true.
entire plan to Kevin right there in the middle of the street.
We're busted out of the clink and we're doing fine. We're gonna be doing even better. Because we're not robbing houses anymore. Now we're robbing toys.
They always talk
At
too
midnight
much.
tonight, we're hitting Duncan's toy chest. 5 floors of cash.
You know, I love how like in the first movie and now in this one, these guys walk around in the middle of the day just yelling who they're gonna rob and when and how they're gonna do it. I mean, greatest criminals of all time.
And Kevin is like a spy level training. He's like always thinking 10 steps ahead of them.
Ahead of everybody.
Right? He's like way too smart.
He's like, they might say something that'll be useful. Let me activate this recorder in my pocket.
Home Alone is like a spy movie like Jason Bourne or like Bond, but for children.
It is. It really is.
It's like you too can be witty and outsmart 2 idiot criminals.
Right, if you just use your brain.
And all your resources, like master level use of resources.
It's true.
Like nobody would have ever thought you could put out a whole bunch of micro machines on the floor to make a trap.
I'm up here, you morons! Come and get me!
Yeah.
Like not on purpose. Like we all knew that conceptually is possible, but
right, that's what they warned us about. Don't leave your toys on the floor, someone might step on them. Like,
Kevin was like, yeah, watch this.
Someone's gonna step on them.
Right, like having the ropes cut to the perfect height so that the paint can will slam them straight in the face.
Heads up! Don't worry, Marv, I'll get him for you. Yes.
Genius. Physics is off the charts.
One thing that didn't make sense was why was he escaping from the hotel with a plane ticket in his hand? Where did he get a trip? Why was he carrying his old plane ticket?
Nobody ever took it from him, I guess.
But why was he carrying it? Like as soon as they grabbed him, they were like, "Oh, you're supposed to be in Miami." Well,
90s dialogue with the props.
They're like, "Get that ticket ready, Kev. You're on the way to the airport."
There's no reason for him to stay with these two, so he touches this girl's posterior and makes her think that they did it. Which, I mean, you know, if anyone looked like they went around doing some bum touching, it's these guys. Anyway, so then she just kind of like...
Yeah, she did good in her
Kevin
role.
runs
Oh, that was great. He hit him with the Akuma.
You in the park? What are you doing?
So after he escapes, Kevin looks in his dad's address book and finds out that his dad's brother, aka his uncle, I probably should have just said that, just so happens to live in New York City. But as per the first
He was
movie,
in
they're
there?
currently living in Paris, so the house is all locked up and empty, which leaves Kevin all alone walking around this neighborhood in the middle of the night.
Watch it, kid!
An accurate depiction of New York.
Oh, I thought you never been there.
So I heard.
Scary.
So they say. So they say.
Ain't much better in here, kid.
You know,
It's
I
the
feel
same
like
guy.
this guy's probably written at least like 35 articles on WikiFeet. Now, after running around and screaming some more, eventually Kevin runs into the final boss of New York City.
The final boss.
The
I'm
pigeon
sorry I
lady.
screamed in your face. I'm just trying to help you, right?
Yeah, everybody. How dare you? Did you learn nothing from the first movie? Okay, if you see someone staring at you like they want to cut your face off and put it in their collection, they probably just want to be friends, all right? I mean, come on, what's the worst that can happen? So after hanging out with Madame Thenardier for a while, we see Kevin walking around somewhere, and something catches his eye.
At midnight tonight, we're hitting Duncan's toy chest.
You can mess with a lot of things, but you can't mess with kids like Christmas.
And so, just like last time, Kevin designs and sets up this huge, like, Rube Goldberg
Look at
machine of
this.
life-threatening traps and flamethrowers and iron bars that
Let's
sets
look
up
at this operation.
Can't mess with kids.
like
Oh, he drew the line.
Come on,
Wait a
like
minute. Okay, Operation.
he's got a whole blueprint,
Oh, this from his
the
house.
colored markers.
Yes.
Nah, this is that the uncle's house. It's multi-leveled.
Oh.
Got bricks, a big hole. You got a ladder, fire, paint cans, another big hole, a tool bag. He's like a whole secret agent.
Yeah. Secret Asian man. He even signed it. By Kevin.
By Kevin.
Rube Goldberg machine of life-threatening traps and flamethrowers and iron bars that weigh at least 10 times as much as he does to stop the wet bandits from stealing all the toy store money that's supposed to go to the kids. And of course, he sets all this up in like 35 minutes, which really makes me feel dumb, you know, and I'm just sitting here trying to build a table for my IKEA for 3 hours, like... But anyway, so Kevin finds them in the toy store and leads them back to his uncle's empty house, and the next 20 minutes of the movie is basically just this.
Yeah.
Ooh, this was crazy.
Now, after these two guys have died at least like 12 times.
Oh my gosh. Connected.
Death by stapler.
Connected to a doorknob. That was crazy. Death by a flamethrower connected to a light switch. Woo.
It's like, yo, Kevin, what? Where's Kevin from? He's from the future? What is Kevin?
Yo, I think you're onto something saying he might be a secret agent.
He has to be.
Yeah, where do you... And he's not allowed to watch certain things. So he's just... This is his imagination.
And the whole thing is he's alone. So it's like he's doing all this stuff by himself. Nah. He's a genius. He's like working the elements. He's like freezing water so that it becomes slippery, disguising toilet water, like propane as toilet water.
Right. Making sure there is no other water in there. Old boy has to run all the way outside and find some snow. That's so many steps. That's a lot of steps. And he's doing it for the whole house. He didn't just set up one trap.
No, not that he's doing it for the whole house. He's doing them in like succession, right? Like he's running them into trap after trap in a specified route. It's not just a random trap set. He's like running them through a course of traps.
It's true, because in this movie, the course was New York City. Like in the first one, it was in his town, and so it's like, okay, he's familiar with the town, so you gotta give him, you know, like we know that about him at least. Like, okay, he knows where the church is, he knows where the grocery store is. But he's in New York City.
Well, the house is still booby trapped, in both movies. And then the first one is kind of just random. He's got like all of the windows trapped. He's got all of the doors trapped. They're like
in the stairwell.
They're booby traps set up on all of those things. But in this one, he's like running them through the traps in a specified order, which takes an even more intricate level of planning. They were like, we got to step it up this time. The last one wasn't Jason Bourne enough.
It was good though.
It was.
The basement stairs having the tar on them, the nails. You had to take off the socks just to get through the tar. And then by the time he took off his socks, then there was nails.
Yeah. The planning is next level.
Knowing they would come through the doggy door.
Kevin got recruited by the CIA right after this.
That That's why there was no Home Alone 3 with him. They had to roll out a new agent. I didn't even see that guy.
Right. Let me find out Home Alone is the prequel to Born Identity.
Finally, Kevin calls 911, which he could have done at any point in this movie. Like when he first got to New York, when Harry and Marv told him their master plan, after he escaped, or anytime that
cops
night.
can't catch
See,
anybody.
the truth about these
I mean, he
movies
was
is
living
that
his best
Kevin's not
life
defending
until
himself
he
or
bumped into
saving
the
the
bad
children
guys
or whatever.
again.
Not
Right,
See,
well, he called
Kevin
the
is
police.
hunting these men for fun.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Anyway, so in the end, Kevin's family finally arrives in New York City because when Kevin's dad's credit card was reported stolen earlier in the movie, they found out where he was. And then there's this whole big reunion where Kevin's mom is like, "Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry." And then Kevin's like, "Hey, Mom, can you believe they made 3 more of these movies?" Now, at the very end, the whole family's together. It's Christmas morning, and turns out Tim Allen's been real busy this year.
You're supposed to drink the milk.
Look, I am lactose intolerant, and I am just about this close to taking all those presents back up the chimney with me.
He needs some milk.
Tim Allen.
And then after this, Kevin goes to say Merry Christmas to the bird lady in the park, and that's more or less where the movie ends. I gotta say, I've seen both Home Alone 1 and 2 many times in my life. Like most of you, I assume, because,
Yes.
this time of year, they just play these movies on TV, like, nonstop. But I think I actually like the first one better. In the first movie, the setup is actually understandable. You know how, like, the storm comes in, cuts the power, cuts the phones,
Okay,
and
that's
Kevin's
what I
left
was
home alone
wondering.
to defend the house. Like, the basic premise of the movie is fine. But Home Alone 2 is just about Kevin trying to quench his thirst for vengeance. That's all this, mostly because he has nothing else to do. Anyway, so thanks to the success of the first 2 Home Alone movies, over the years they've made 3 more, all of which are impressively horrendous. Like, if you're having a bad day and you want to make it worse.
Oh no.
Well, that's gonna wrap it up for the
I've never seen
2019 Christmas.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Home Alone, the original, is my favorite Christmas movie.
Of all Christmas movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it might be one of my favorite movies of all genres.
It's really good.
It's really good. It's action, it's thriller, it's comedy, it's for children, so it's like already, just as a kid of the 90s myself, it was way cool.
Yeah, even as an adult though, just like rooting for somebody defending their home in such a just clever and ingenious way.
That's a good point. I was wondering that. I'm like, why have I seen so many home invasion movies? FYI, there are a lot of them, and I've seen a lot. And now that you're saying this, I'm realizing this set the tone.
It's definitely a home invasion movie for sure.
Wow, for kids.
Right, and it's like a parent's dream for their child to be in a precarious situation and defend themselves with such brilliant ideas and actually secure the home.
Yeah,
because he did more than just run and lock every door. Like, he went above and beyond. Everybody was like, sit down and watch this movie. Y'all need to see how it's done.
Now there was a lot of repairs that would have needed to be made afterwards, but yeah, this is a good guidebook to surviving a worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's
several worst case scenarios.
Definitely not a guidebook at all. But it's cool to see the possibilities. It's I think this is part of that genre in the 90s where they had just children doing incredible things that's just actually ridiculous. Like 3 Ninjas. You ever see 3 Ninjas? It's these 3 adolescent brothers who train karate with their grandfather, and then they just proceed to beat up grown adults throughout the movie. It's crazy, but
how do they even know who to beat up?
It's a whole plot,
Okay.
it's a whole scheme, but at the end of the day, you just watch 3 children. The youngest is probably 11, and then the oldest one is maybe 16, and they just run through trained fighters with weapons.
Having just learned karate.
And they've been training for years with their grandfather. They were ninja status. I said karate, but it's really ninjutsu. My bad, everybody. don't kill me in the comments. You're right. 3 ninjas, ninjutsu. My bad. But yeah, they're brothers, so they train together. So they're like Ninja Turtles, and so they beat up these adults, and they know how to attack all the pressure points in the body because their grandfather trained them super well. It's ridiculous, but it's the 90s and we loved it.
Yeah, I guess there were maybe lots of things that didn't make much sense, but we loved them anyway.
Yeah, we're inspired.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to go to New York.
I definitely wanted to set booby traps.
I don't know if I ever really wanted to do that.
Yeah, New York. That's because you're not a guy.
You know what it is? I showed up to my house after there had been a home invasion, and it was really it was like the first school year I was able to go home after school by myself, and so it happened like within the first 2 months of my new independence, and it was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. So I don't know if I ever wanted to set booby traps. I probably just didn't even want to be there in the first place.
Exactly, like the level of just no fear that Kevin had for that whole situation. First of all, being left alone.
Inspiring.
He was just completely unbothered, living his best life, eating ice cream,
watching rubbish,
going to the supermarket and just stealing stuff.
He didn't steal it on purpose.
I'm saying
he was forced to steal.
He was just doing whatever. He's like, I'm out here. And then, like, when we realized the bad guys were coming for him, he just hunkered down and was like, you know what?
Yeah, this is my house.
Watch this.
This is my Uncle Rob's house.
Bruh.
It might look like a POS right now, but
incredible.
Yeah, save it for the renovation. Yeah. Kevin was an American icon. Kevin McAllister. What a hero to all of us 90s kids who were home alone. You know what? Is this what Home Alone is really about? The latchkey era? They were like, hey kids, we know you're home alone now. Watch out. This bad guy's coming.
At least get a tape recorder.
At minimum. And when all else fails, just scream as long as you can.
It's a good one.
Definitely startling.
So yeah, this is our first video we did by Alex Myers. It was great.
Leave it a thumbs up.
For sure. Flowering Doodle says, Kevin is hunting these men for fun.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
Yeah, for sure.
Truly, he could have done anything else. But also he was saving Christmas for children.
Yeah, Kevin was never shook. He was like, oh, I'm in New York? Say less.
Oh, say less.
Dustin Coon 7450 said, this is why us 90s kids miss the 90s so much. Apathetic optimism. Facts. Could do anything.
Right? You just get on a plane by saying, I'm pretty sure my whole family's out there.
Right? You probably could, though.
I mean, especially if they were in a rush. They're like, we gotta close these doors.
Eddie 4854 says, when he gets to the Plaza, he meets no one special, quote unquote. I thought that was hilarious when he said it too, because that's definitely where he met Donald Trump.
Yeah. Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Yes, he even gave him directions. And you know what? That's a mark of a true New Yorker. They're busy. They might come across a little rude sometimes, but they will give you directions.
That's so funny. You trying to erase my son Donald from the movie recap.
Wow. Trying to rewrite history. Der Poltergeist 8265 said, I want a movie with a grown-up Macaulay Culkin, an old Joe Pesci, and an old Daniel Stern, like the final confrontation.
That actually would be amazing.
What would the title be?
Home Alone. Home Alone grown.
Home Alone grown.
Home Alone grown would be crazy. And they like, it's so violent, and they actually have come to finish Kevin. Like, they came to off him.
Oh no.
He ruined their lives. He put them in prison several times. Yeah. They're coming for his life. And like, Kevin knew it was gonna come to this, so he's been training for 30 years.
And so have they, but they only study his former moves. They don't know what could be in store.
Home Alone grown.
That sounds good.
I would watch it.
Somebody make that. D-May.
Dima.
Send this to a producer. Thank you to Alex Myers. Be sure to go to his page, give him a like, and subscribe if you like what you see.
Word. Shout out Macaulay Culkin. It's an American legend.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an American legend.
Facts.
It's iconic.
So many iconic moments.
So many. Yo, maybe we should make another video about top 1,000 iconic moments of Home Alone.
Yeah, it's really a good one.
So many. All right, so be sure to like this Alex Myers video. Check it out. Be sure to like our video, obviously, before you leave our page. And give us a subscribe. And we'll get more meta, more better.
It's a MetaWatchParty.